So milling Defy. Oh, there's Ticketus. And Spawn of Shadows is gone. Greetings everyone, Slizzle466 here, and in today's video we're looking at Reno Priest for the Darkmoon Races mini set. This is a list by Cream Puff that he coins the Freeze Reno Priest. The freeze comes in because of the Glacial Shard and the Frozen Shadow Reaver, and this is a tech that's being used to give Reno Priest a better chance against Rogue, specifically Kingsbane Rogue, but also against Odd Rogue. There's also a Wave of Apathy in here. This helps against the Darkglare Warlock matchup. And there is the new card Hysteria, 3 mana, choose an enemy minion. It attacks random minions until it dies. This is a nice piece of removal that you've got in Priest now. You can also get it off Shadow Visions if you really want one. The only card I question in this list is the Geppetto Joybuzz. Cream Puff loves running this card. He's one of the few players that do. I haven't tested it properly myself, but Cream Puff is one of the best Reno Priest players out there, so if you happen to have Geppetto Joybuzz, give it a try, see how it feels for you. As for the mulligan for this deck, there are only 4 cards that you want to keep in your matchups. The first one being Zephyrus the Great, the second one being Kazakus. You want to keep Raza the Chained, as well as Reno Jackson. You don't need to keep Lawkeeper Porkelt in the mulligan. Your deck cycles fast enough already, and a lot of the time you'd rather play Raza than Porkelt on 5. If you happen to have Porkelt on 5, that's great, but as mentioned, the deck cycles pretty fast, so often you're going to be okay. For those unfamiliar with how the OTK in this deck works, essentially what you do is you play your Raza the Chained, you play a Shadow Reaper Anduin, the hero power costs 0, and then you chain that 0 mana hero power with all of your cheap spells in your deck with Spawn of Shadows to OTK your opponent. Now, this game that you're seeing, it is a pre-recorded game because the first time I forgot to unmute my microphone, but it's a really good game, and so we're going to talk through my decisions in this game to see how this game pans out. Now, I'm assuming here that this is a Darkglare Warlock, and assuming this is the Darkglare Warlock, I'm happy there's a Wave of Apathy in the deck. That's why you see me pointing at it there. I've got my Kazakus, which is good. Again, those 4 cards you're looking for are the Zephyrus, the Kazakus, the Raza, and the Reno. So at least I have the Kazakus. You see me squelch the opponent there because Nemzi's voice line is super annoying. Now, I don't like playing Renew when I'm not necessarily healing my face because I don't know if I'm against an aggro deck yet, and that heal might be important. But in this case, because my opponent has done nothing for the first 2 turns, it seems that I'm running against a Reno lock. Cube lock has really fallen out of favor. If it's a slow Warlock deck, it's going to be most likely a Reno lock. So that's why you see me tempo out the Thalnos there. Now there's the Raza. That is great news. I still don't know what my opponent is playing, so I'm just going to go ahead here and pass. And now I'm kind of in the unknown. I don't really know what to expect. Okay, and so the Gnome comes down. This tells me that yes, this is a Reno lock. It might be a Reno lock running Ticketus, which is going to be a problem. And I've also got to consider cards like Dirty Rat. So that's why here you see me coin out the Raza the Chained, because if that Raza gets pulled out of my hand, I pretty much can't win. So now I'm basically in fear mode of losing the Shadow Reaper Anduin. Without the Shadow Reaper Anduin, it's pretty much impossible for me to win this game. I can afford to lose the Spawn of Shadows. Now, Sticky Finger is is a cute little tech, so it looks like we're queued into a Reno lock that's running a lot of tech cards. And typically, if a Reno lock is running a lot of tech cards, which is personally not a thing I like in my Reno decks, they're probably running Ticketus. Now you'll notice there that I bumped off the Gnome Feratu because I don't want my opponent returning the Gnome Feratu or a golden copy with Zola and then burning more of my deck. I chose Convert there because I might be able to steal a value card from my opponent. Maybe it's a Bran, maybe it's another Gnome Feratu off a Raised Dead. Here, these three choices. Against aggro, you'd pick Radiance, but I might be able to sneak in some kind of lethal with the Inner Fire. And that's why you see me choose it here. Because to be honest, that 5 heal really doesn't matter. Now, the reason I'm pointing at the Glacial Shard there is basically I don't want to just start throwing out minions for no reason, because I've got to also play around Dirty Rat. Now, right now, Dirty Rat doesn't matter, but if I draw my Spawn of Shadows, well, that's going to be a bit of a problem. Now, there's the Hysteria. You can get a lot of value off an Hysteria, depending on the attack and health of a minion. For example, Hysteria on a Void Lord can pick off a lot of little dirtly things on your opponent's side. That Emperor is an indication, though, that there is probably a Bran Ticketus coming, or at least a Ticketus. The Ticketus currently is not corrupted, though. And so, when I played that Kazakus potion, I was aiming for draw. I'm really desperate to draw into my Shadow Reaper Anduin. I don't care about turning demons into sheep or whatever. I just got to cycle really, really hard. And so that's why I chose the draw there on that Kazakus potion. Okay, so there is a big demon, not cheated out off the Void Caller. And so here I just want to cycle. Unfortunately, I do have 10 cards in hand, so I can't play the Kazakus potion. But I could just play the Novice Engineer. I don't remember what I do here. I would anticipate I'm going to probably just Penance and heal. I don't think it's worth playing the Hysteria. It's weird commentating your own gameplay. Okay, so it looks like I opted to just have a kind of slow turn. So I believe the Ticketus is now corrupted, I think. Fire Breathe is kind of weird. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we lose Seance, that's fine. It's all about not losing the Shadow Reaper Anduin. And clearly I'm a skilled gamer because there he is. So I drew the Anduin. Important to heal face first. Now, there's a decision to be made here. Now keep in mind that with my hero power, every spell in my hand is worth 4 face damage. And so what you'll see here is I'm concerned about my opponent healing up. And so I'm using my Holy Smite to deal with that minion. Now if you look at my hand, if you count up the cards there, I do have lethal in hand. Yeah, I have lethal without the Spawn of Shadows. I can just use my hero power, ping away, have a great time. My opponent clearly is aware of this, or they know how to play the game. And so they've opted to Reno and gone super greedy with the Barista there. They're also going to mill a card next turn. So I clearly do not have lethal. I don't think I have lethal. I don't see it myself. So it looks like I'm going for controlling the board. And I'm probably going to want to have the insight to hopefully draw into Spawner Shadows. Now that Frozen Shadow Reaver, I should save that for lethal. So I shouldn't throw that out. So I just go ahead and pass. I believe. Okay, there we go. So Milling Defy. Oh, there's Ticketus. And Spawner Shadows is gone. And so when I was playing this game, my thought process was, I have a Wave of Apathy in my hand. I have an Inner Fire in my hand. I don't have the speed to calculate the lethal. So there's a policy I have with Reno Priest. If you have a gut instinct that you have lethal, then just go for it, because there's a lot of APM involved and you're gonna run out of time. So what I've done here is I don't know if I have lethal, and I am just going for it and hoping for the best. Because what I see there is the Ticketus, which is an additional 8 damage. And we can definitely see here that that is lethal. So, if you want to try this deck out for yourself, you'll find the deck code in the description below. And if you'd like to support this channel, you can click the subscribe button, click the notification bell, and until next time, I hope to see you again. GG.